Alright you guys, so finally I've gotten around to reviewing the Oculus Quest headset, and I've been waiting so long for this one. Finally, we have a wireless headset that's free of computers and free of wires, and it's excellent. The new Oculus Quest is a completely standalone headset. It has an OLED display. The display resolution is 1440 times 1600 per eye. That's a little more than the Oculus Rift. It has a refresh rate of 72 Hertz. It has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 processor, 4 gigs of RAM. Depending on which model you buy, it has either 64 or 128 gigabytes. It has a lithium-ion battery, which has a roughly 2 or 3 hours playtime, depending on what you use. It has hand controllers and 6 degrees of freedom. It weighs in at 571 grams. The price is 480 euros, and it needs Wi-Fi to run. So for tracking, it uses 4 IR cameras, which pick up the small IR LEDs in the controllers, and it has what I would classify as excellent tracking performance. Although as a high-performance space pirate trainer player, there are some small limitations to the tracking, and that means that if the controller gets very close to the camera, it will lose tracking. But I would say like 99.99% of users would never experience these problems. It's only people who are very like developers like me and very high performance players that will notice stuff like that. So for the average user, this tracking is completely perfect. So speaking of safety, the Oculus Quest has a Guardian system, which is very easy to set up. As soon as you put on the headset, with your controller, you mark out the area that is actually safe to play, just like with any other system. But until you experience it, it's so easy to set up compared to the room setup of both the Rift and the HTC Vive. It's so much more intuitive, and it takes less than 5 minutes actually to set up a new play space. And what's even cooler is if you turn your headset on in the same play space as you've been before, it remembers it. And if you go to another play space, it will ask you to set up a new play space. So also, when you're near the edge of the Guardian system, it will alert you just like the other systems with like a grid that tells you that you're on your way out. And opposed to the other Guardian systems or safety systems, if you stick your head through this grid, you will actually be able to see what people around you are doing, which is called on the Oculus Quest Pass-Through. And they recently made an upgrade called Pass-Through Plus, which has upgraded stereoscopic vision. And this is excellent for making people feel safe. And also as a developer, when you're developing something and you need to see what's going on around you, you can just stick your head out and see what people are doing. So this is a huge upgrade, both in ease of use, but also safety. And it gets 2 okay symbols from here. Sound-wise, it has 2 projectional speakers right here, which projects the sound towards your ears. It doesn't give a lot of privacy while you play, but the sound quality is awesome. And if you want to use your own headphones, there is a headphone jack here that you can use, and it has a 3.5 millimeter plug, so you can use any headphone you want. But the audio quality in the headset itself is surprisingly good, although it doesn't afford you much privacy. Speaking of ergonomics, it weighs 571 grams, which is on the lighter end. It has this strap, which is adjustable here with Velcro and here. And when you want to put it on, you just pull the strap back. Actually, you can use it with glasses, but I need to take my glasses off, and you put it on like that. So I would say that fitting-wise, it's not as adjustable as, for example, the Deluxe Audio head strap, but it has a very comfortable fit, and it's very easy to take on and off. It has a manual IPD adjustment here, which is the interpupillary distance, and the optical quality is actually very good. Ergonomics-wise, the only gripe I have with the controllers, for example, is that for some people they would consider it too small. It is very small, and it's not like the Vive Index where you actually strap it to your hand so you can actually drop it, but it does have these small straps so you can strap it to your hand so you won't actually throw them anywhere. The controllers are very reminiscent of the ones for the Oculus Rift, although the tracking bands here, they go up above the hand instead of around your hand, so it's easier to see for the tracking cameras. I find them very easy to use. The quality is very nice, and it has the grip button here and the trigger here, the thumbstick here, and 2 buttons. So very good experience. It feels like a very good quality. When you want to share your content, it's very easy with the Oculus Quest. They've made a casting option directly in the app, so you can either cast directly to Facebook through your Oculus account, or you can cast to a nearby screen, and that being an iPad or an iPhone that's directly connected. And when you're connected to the Wi-Fi, you get very fluid streaming. And for us therapists, it's very nice to be able to see what the patient is doing. In the old days, we relied on being able to cast to a big screen TV or connect it through an HDMI cable, which was very space consuming, and another cable added. Here you can just cast to any device, which is a great leap forward in ease of use and making it easier for therapists to actually do their therapy instead of focusing on the technical aspects. So thumbs up for the sharing, and I've tried the casting experience to the web, so people can actually follow you live. The experience is very good, but as of now, the encoding quality is very low. And when thinking about what kind of processor it is, I mean, I can't fault them for that, but they have said that in updates they're going to improve this, and I think they actually have at this point. Speaking of updates, they've actually made an announcement that there will be hand tracking. The cameras in there can track your fingers, so you can actually go controller free. And from a therapeutical standpoint, this is quite good, because if you want to work with the digits individually, there are a whole lot of applications or possible applications you can do, and in just tracking performance, but also interactions and stuff like that. I can't wait to see full implementation on that. There is, of course, when it's running all this on a relatively low-end mobile processor, will that eat compute cycles and degrade the experience? You could make the argument about what happens with the next generation of hardware, that it will be better then, but we'll have to wait and see. Content-wise, on the Rift store right now, there's a whole lot of games that was available on the Oculus Rift that have been ported to the Oculus Quest, and the port is barely perceptible. When you look closely, you'll see that, of course, there's a little downgrade in resolution. There are textures that are not the same size, and the 3D models are much simpler, less polygons, so it can actually run on the Oculus Quest. And that's one of the trade-offs you get when you're working with a mobile device instead of a high-performance PC on the side. You have to make some sacrifices to get feasible performance on that. But speaking as a relatively high-skilled space pirate trainer player, the graphical quality is good enough to make a good experience. So I wouldn't say it's that much of a trade-off. Like, it's not perceptible for most users, so it's really okay. So the verdict: as a physical therapist, the Oculus Quest heralds a new age of standalone VR. It's kind of the headset we've been waiting for. I can't tell you how many times I've spoken to other therapists and tried to convince them that VR is actually going to be a thing, and all they could focus on was the fact that you needed a PC and all the cables that were actually tied to the headset. And now that that's gone, every time I show a therapist this, they're like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like, how much does it cost? And that's also one of the things that's actually changing the game, that it's almost a fifth of the cost. An old setup with an HTC Vive and a high-performance laptop, for example, which was the most mobile you would actually get, it would cost around 2,000 euro. And this is under 500 euro for the smallest set, which is like, when I tell therapists what it costs, they say, and what else do I need? I say nothing else. Like, this is what you need. 500 euro and you're good to go. As the availability of these headsets increase and more get them, that's going to be a huge, like, the potential for doing physical therapy in VR is changing right now. And this is only the first generation of headsets. I can't imagine what they'll be able to do with, like, the next generation of Snapdragon processors, the 850 and the 855 and the Snapdragon, I think it's called XR. So, like, the first generation of headsets is very good. I really want to see if HTC has a response to this, because we need more competition in this space. Because one of the drawbacks of using this one is that you get locked into Oculus's ecosystem. And you could argue that Steam, HTC, the other platforms, they are more open. And as a developer, getting into the Oculus store is not as easy as publishing something to Steam. So you need to publish something of very high quality to actually get on there. And of course, we're porting a lot of stuff and making a lot of new stuff for this platform. So getting onto the Oculus store is going to be important for us. So besides that, I think I'm actually going to go play some right now because this is what we've been waiting for. So as usual, if you like the content, don't forget to smash that like button, leave a follow, press that subscribe button. For more info, we will be back very soon. As usual, have a good one.